Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of the Not Your Average Investor Show. Today, it's the State of the Union of JWB, and I'll tell you why this matters. I think us as Not Your Average Investors, we have come to understand that when people think about real estate investing, they have a whole bunch of misconceptions that stops them from becoming Not Your Average Investors, right? And one of the big misconceptions is this idea that this is not a predictable thing. This idea that this is done by fly-by-night companies, they expect a lower quantity. And I think if we are going to change that narrative and we're going to allow people to see it the way that we already see it, we need them to understand that there are companies out there that do this thing at another level. And that means that everybody can do it. And that means that they can expect a standard experience. And that's why we like to open the kimono here at JWB on how a company does that. And for that reason, we're going to look into last year. We're going to look into this year, and we're going to give the JWB State of the Union. I am your host, Pablo Gonzalez. With me, as always, the head of state over here, who I affectionately like to call GC, because he's got genius concepts, because he knows how to generate cash flows, because he's a great co-host, and because his name is Gregg Cohen, co-founder of JWB. Gregg Cohen.
Chief of State, co-founder, Grand Poobah. What's the next nickname you're gonna give me?
Coach, I don't know.
I'll give you appreciate all those, but I really appreciate being with all of you.
Yeah, we got it ticked up right here. We already got 62 people just 2 minutes in. I know that this usually hits peak in about 10 minutes. And speaking of hitting peak in just 10 minutes, the Not Your Average Investor Summit has sold out, folks.
We have what, a month ahead of schedule, right before the event.
Doubled the size of it, announced it to the community. Y'all went out and bought like more than 2/3 of the tickets before we could even market it. And then for like a blip, there was a moment where other people could buy tickets. So can't wait to see it happen February 16th and 17th. But here's the good news. If you don't have a ticket, we have a wait list.
We do.
We have a wait list. And all you got to do to get on the wait list, if you go to jwbsummit.com, just do the regular checkout like you would normally check out, and you can get on the wait list. And that way anybody cancels, anything like that happens, or, maybe do like a really impassioned plea to like sneak into a bus. I might bring you in a suitcase. We'll know who to do it. But yeah, so the summit is sold out. We're at full capacity. I think we're going to have a total of like 120 or so folks, right, Jason?
Absolutely.
For 2 days of education, behind the scenes of what it takes to build a city, behind the scenes of what it takes to create not your average experience for an investor, and more than anything, connection with the community.
100%. I couldn't be more excited, not just for the event. This is going to be the best one that we have done yet, but to know that it is largely filled with people that are right here, right now in the Not Your Average Investor community. There's a reason we came to you first, and we opened it up to you first. And I'm so excited to get to meet all of you. Some of you I haven't met yet, but all of you, especially our returning folks, we're going to have a blast. So get ready.
Yeah, we can't wait to meet you. And you're going to get to meet some of the names that you hear now on a little tradition that we have, which is called what, GC?
The roll call, baby.
We got the mystery man kicking us off today.
Denny Davies.
With the Let's Go Bucks.
Oh.
Agreed. Nobody here likes the Eagles. All right.
True.
Our leadoff hitter batting second today.
John Henning.
Well, the MVP, who you may have heard of.
Mr. Lee Bishop.
Mr. Lee Bishop. We got Christopher Lee from Fernandina Beach.
All right, Chris.
Chris is back. We got a Feliz Martes desde Dubai.
Mr. Bill Shields.
Mr. Bill Shields. We got the patriarch and matriarch and the Duchess of the Not Your Average Investor
We are
Show.
graced with the Duchess as well.
The first family is here.
We salute you.
We got the maven from the mountains of Denver.
Leslie Wilson.
The real estate maven, of course. We got Steven Chmielewski is back.
All right.
Providence, Rhode Island in the house. Steven, good that you're making a habit out of this. Lita Song is back. Beautiful investor from Minnesota.
All right, Lita.
We got the Shaman in the house.
Nadeem Shah. Billy Green.
From the forecasting frigid mountains of Colorado. We got our favorite name to pronounce, Aaron O'Neill.
Into the light.
All these folks I feel like we've read so far are coming. I don't know if Nadeem is coming, but everybody else, and maybe Steven not. But anyways, Aaron, pumped that you're coming back as well. Who else we got in here? We got Maritas. Buen dia. Buen dia to you, Maritas.
Wonderful.
Yeah, from Florida.
New name?
New name.
All right.
New name.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the party. Vincent Barberwright is back.
He's becoming a regular.
Becoming a real.
There we go. Nice to see you again.
The patron Santorios is back.
Michael Santorios.
Michael Santorios, Northern Virginia in the house. We got Pamela Myers from Seattle.
Good morning.
She's in the house as well. Pamela. I think Pamela's coming too. I'm pretty pumped to meet her.
Yeah, that's right. I did see Pamela.
Jared Siddle. with a new name.
All right, new name.
Jared,
Welcome.
buddy. Make yourself comfortable. Pull up a seat. We got Big Papa in the house. We love it when he calls it Big Papa.
Bobs, how are you, my friend?
Jay Cohen, Gregg's dad, the founder of the co-founder. Co-founder of the co-founder.
That's funny.
Our friend from Rockland, California, formerly from Milipitas.
Lewis.
R.I.P. Steelers.
Yes. You know, we lost, but Lewis is here.
And totally redeemed herself. Thanks, Lewis. Good to have you in the house, buddy. We got our amazing community manager, the mama bear of the community, Cody Adams, who is with us in studio today. Hello, Cody. We got the early bird in the house from a frigid Columbus, Ohio.
Dean Curry.
Dean Curry, first person to buy the ticket. Also,
Cleo's early bird.
Maria Totino is in the house from West Palm Beach, Florida. Maria, good to have you here.
All right, wonderful.
All right, new name, right?
I believe so.
Let's say Totino. I don't know. Anyway, Kevin Nistico from Ohio, another new name.
New
We got a bunch of new
name.
names in here.
State of the Union brings them out. All right.
Welcome to the Union, folks. The legend from who has a hockey arena named after himself. #1 referral partner to JWB, I think.
Absolutely. Roger Voisnet.
Roger Voisnet.
Of course. I didn't know if they were going to list as many
I think
accomplishments.
he hosts the TEDx events over there.
He does. I mean, we could go on and on.
He is the most interesting man in the world.
He is.
Just for the record. Miguel Sanudo is back from Granada, still alive in 2024. Good to have you,
Good to
Miguel.
see you.
Bienvenido. We got Joel Weixel in the house. Weixel?
New name?
Let me know if I'm pronouncing Y or Weixel, Joe. I want to get that. Joel from Santa Barbara. Beautiful little part of the country.
Wonderful.
Love me some Santa Barbara.
You all are doing so many wonderful things by showing up, but it is getting harder and harder to recognize everybody in the roll call. So when you show up, make sure you get in there early and say hi.
Gotta get in.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll through it. John Moran, we got Pedro Nacianceno, we got Misty Johnson, we got Jeff Bolton, who's also coming to the show, to the meetup. I can't wait to meet you, Jeff. Eddie Harris from Hotlanta. Who else we got in there? All right. Oh, and of course, Marilyn Cotterman from Homosassa, Florida.
Home of the manatees, Pablo.
We should do a meetup where we all swim with manatees in Maryland.
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
Bring it to Maryland.
Here we go.
Really good to have you back. All right, let's kick this thing off, GC. When we talk about State of the Union, I like to kick it off to you and say, how's the union doing? How's the union been?
You know, the union is very strong.
Yeah. United.
Here
we go.
Oh, thank you. It wouldn't be a show unless I screwed up where the mic placement was, right?
Yeah.
I've only been doing this for 4 years. No, I mean, we are so excited for 2024. And as I think about really, as long as we've been doing this show, it started in 2020. And, the last, call it 3 years, have been, some of the most challenging times for us to be investors, to be citizens first and foremost, but it's been some of the most challenging times for organizations to run a business. And JWB, we have certainly had to deal with some of those challenges that every business has had to deal with. But I'm so excited that 2024, a lot of that noise has really calmed down. If you think, 2020, as I was starting to think about what it was like to prepare for this presentation and looking at past presentations that we've done for this over the years, 2020 to 2022, it was like, we had COVID, which obviously that was a big challenge for everybody, right?
To say the least.
But as after that started to play itself out from running a business perspective, we started to figure out how to make sure we were taking care of people and all of that good stuff. From that point on, as an investment or as far as kind of our asset class, everything was sort of swimming in that direction to make it really easy to market and sell our product, right? We had low interest rates, which makes the same asset more profitable. It was the age of easy money. And, we had, valuations for companies were sky high. Yeah. Sales for JWB turnkey assets specifically were at heights that we had never seen before. And if we had more homes built out, they would have been double what they were. It was like something I had never seen before. And the pendulum swung so much in that direction that we had mainstream media talking about how single family rental properties were the asset class of choice.
It was like the golden hour, the perfect picture moment.
It was interesting.
Where people actually got it.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
So as marketers, which we all are, we're like, man, we are just on point. We're so good. Oh man. And then you think 2022 to 2023, and that pendulum swung in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And this was no longer the darling asset class in the minds of the media. Everybody was calling for the crash. Even when it wasn't crashing, people were saying it was crashing, even though it wasn't crashing, right? We know that interest rates spiked and rose the fastest that they have in 40 years. We still had supply chain challenges. We had wars abroad. We had turmoil.
Yeah. War in Europe for the first time in 50 years.
Absolutely. And it made it really challenging to communicate amongst all that noise. It made it really challenging to communicate the value of this asset class. We felt like we were, as easy as it was from 2020 to 2022, it was that much more difficult over the last year. And I think anytime that you're running a business, significant change in broad macroeconomic factors make it much more difficult for you to communicate your message and sell your product. And, you know, we spent a lot of time communicating that message in 2020 to 2022. It happened to be a little bit easier and went in our favor that way. Last year, we spent a whole lot of time and effort thinking about how are we going to communicate why this works for investors. As I'm thinking about 2024, I'm just excited that that noise, that range of change is much more normal. Now we can just get down to business. We can just do the things that we have been doing that have, you know, allowed us to get to this level over the last 18 years. And the range is much more, it's much smaller. So I'm excited about 2024 because I think this is going to be more of a normal year for JWB. We're not going to have the insane amount of sales that we had in 2021, let's call it. But we're going to have more sales than we had last year. And you can think about that in different parts of the business as well. So back to business, back to basics, the things that always have kind of shown through, I'm expecting are going to show through as far as this asset class specifically, and all of the other services that we get to provide around them.
As I saw like a sneak peek into what we're talking about this morning at the TMM, which, by the way, I got to go to a TMM again for the first time since pre-COVID, which is amazing. For those of you that don't know, Gregg and his team get together every Tuesday morning. The entire staff is here. It starts off with core values call-outs where teammates are standing up and complimenting other teammates based on living out the core values of the company. Then it's followed by testimonials. It's super, super inspirational. And then the weirdest thing to me is that it's like 100+ people that nobody's on their phone. Everybody's engaged on each other for what was an hour and a half, including myself. Like I couldn't believe that I kept my attention up, but it's super, super engaging. So the meat of it was this presentation. And I think as you're talking, and as I know what's coming here, spoiler alert, fam, is the idea that we're going to paint a pretty good picture of a healthy company that's doing well and has, you know, big goals and doing big things still, even though, like you just said, you were a fighter that just got past the hardest round, right? Like you guys literally just came out of the biggest battle year that from a macroeconomic perspective that this company has had since its founding, based on macroeconomic forces, based on local economy dynamics. And the truth is that there used to be kind of like 3 big names here in Jacksonville of real estate companies that everybody kind of knew. And right now there's only one, which is JWB. And you're going to see a bright looking past and future, which I think is really incredible.
Well, and you know, that's not by coincidence, right? We talked a lot last year about going into last year, the value of what we coined proactive pivoting. And the difference between a proactive pivot and a panic pivot or a reactive pivot. And a proactive pivot is one where you look at what the market is going to do, what the market is throwing at you, and you have already built a team, systems, processes, products, revenue streams that some will do better based on what the Fed is doing or what the market is doing. Some will do better and some will do worse. And by having that established over the last 18 years, we were able to proactively look at our business plan and say, you know what, we're not going to sell the same amount of houses, turnkey houses that we sold the year before. We're going to sell less. And we're able to set a business plan based on that loss of revenue because we knew it. We knew that was going to happen in certain revenue channels. And we were able to make more revenue in other channels that we hadn't fully put resources behind to that same level as we did last year. And so the reason why we were able to thrive in 2023, whereas a lot of other real estate companies and specifically aren't able to, is because of a commitment to proactive understanding the business, proactive pivoting, understanding which levers we need to pull, and this vertically integrated approach. We talked a lot about how this vertically integrated approach protects your investment and why it's a great value for you. Well, the biggest value for you is that it protects JWB, making sure that we're going to be here year in, year out, decade in and decade out. Because when you have a vertically integrated business and the market is telling you that one of these revenue streams is going to suffer a little bit in this year, if you already have these other revenue streams built out through that vertical integration, then you just simply, you pull a lever and you talk and you rally the team around it. And so I think that's the biggest differentiator that we've seen for why vertical integration makes so much sense. It helps you, it helps a company like JWB survive and thrive. And that's why we're here 18 years, surviving the Great Recession, surviving COVID, surviving interest rates spiking from 4% to 8% while selling investment assets. It's because of this commitment to that vertical integration.
That's awesome, man. So we got 90 plus people here. We're going to get into this State of the Union. This is a version of what the partners at JWB presented to the 100 plus members of the team right now. As you are watching this, as an investor, just think to yourself that you are seeing a different type of real estate product company experience being brought to market in this. This is what truly differentiates it, is this idea that just like any other kind of investment, you can expect to be able to have things to invest in when you need to invest in. You can expect to have a team that supports you in understanding what you're investing in. You have a team that supports make the asset function the right way, and you can hold this team and this asset class to that standard now, unlike ever before. And if you're a real estate investor that is just starting your own company or doing this actively, take this blueprint, right? Like this is what you want to build to, right? So without further ado, GC, I think we talk about the deal, man. What is the overall mission for the year, man?
Oh man, I think a lot of that is getting back to basics, right? Yeah. And I think the environment that we're facing in 2024 is that it's conducive to us just simply running our operation and getting incrementally better. That term incrementally better, early on in our career, when we were just starting the company, I would think about incremental growth and I would think, that's not exponential growth, but now that we're running an organization where we're responsible for tens of thousands of families, when you start to count our residents and our vendors and our team and the established network that we have, there's tens of thousands of families that are dependent upon us. Incremental growth is the strategy for us. We want to continue to get better and better and better in the things that we know provide significant value for you as an investor, for our residents, for our vendors, for our team. So incremental growth, continuing to do the things that we do well and do them better and better and better every year. That's really the focus in 2024. But beyond all that, our focus and what we talked about in the team, getting away from the numbers and the production and all that, our focus for 2024, and our entire team is rallied around this, it's to make an impact. Those three words, make an impact, right? For us, everything that we do, we happen to be a company that buys, sells, rents properties. But if that's all we did, that would be very hollow, right? We're here to change people's lives. We realize that by being here and the platform that we have, we're going to change people's lives in one direction or another. We want to put our efforts towards making a positive impact on the lives that are directly affected. And when you start to think about the tens of thousands of people that are directly, like we're affecting people's homes, the home is where all the good things start, so if we can be that positive impact on our community, on our network, on our team, on our vendors, on our clients, on our residents, man, we can make this world a better place. So that's our focus.
Okay. All right. How do you do that, man?
Well, we do it through a number of things, but as I was thinking about this presentation, I think it's captured in one picture. So if you wouldn't mind, let's go ahead and share that picture here. It's this picture right here. What we're looking at is the JWB Cares Home giveaway in 2023. All of us together, because all of our Not Your Average Investor community, our clients, our network, our team, everybody comes together to be a part of this. And together we raised over $200,000 so that we could build a brand new home and donate this home to a very deserving veteran. Petty Officer John Tappan and his wife, Emily, received their brand new construction home that was donated from all of you, from all of your efforts, whether you gave $25, $100, when you gave thousands of dollars, whether you came and you donated items at the charity golf tournament, when you came and played, all of you are a part of this. And this moment right here just captured it. If you can see John, he's holding his pup right there. He's overwhelmed. You can see John's parents over there raising their hands. Like, this was the moment that his life changed. And so when we talk about making an impact, because we have this wonderful platform, we're able to do things like this over and over and over again. So we've done this 5 times. We now have 5 families that are living in brand new homes that were donated. And this year, we're excited. We're going to be doing our 6th home donation. We're going to ask for all of your help as well to help donate as well. If you'd like to go and donate right now, you can go to jwbcares.org. We're always thankful for those donations. But this year, we're going to do a little bit of a different spin.
Yeah.
We're still going to raise that money. We're still going to ask for all of your help. We're still going to build a brand new construction home. But we're going to donate this home to one of our residents.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We're going to donate this home to one of our residents. You want to talk about the impact coming full circle for the residents that we get to take care of here in JWB, something that our entire team is very excited about. They just learned about it today. It was the first time that they heard it. And yeah, so I think it just it completes the circle of impact that we're trying to make. So super excited about it.
I remember that day well, man. I think it's incredible that you guys have a starting basketball team of people that you've given homes to and continue to do it. And this, like, tying it all together within the ecosystem, right? Like everything that JWB is doing, from providing affordable homes to allowing people the best in class home of that asset class to, like, raise a family in a single family, to now making this thing possible as a dream for the people that you serve and the people that your team. At the end of the day, I was listening to the testimonials. The testimonials talking about, like, hey, this person is not my friend, right? Like, my property manager is not my friend. Like, I will always keep her in my life. And tying that mission together from the resident experience to the company experience. And even as an investor, I'm just like, oh, this must mean that now there's going to be a line of people waiting out the door to rent my home out, because now they also get put into this kind of opportunity that I don't think anybody else in the world can do something like that.
I've never heard of it, of a property management company doing this.
I think it's awesome, man. Cool. So make an impact is the goal. You make it very, very tangible to your team's ability to make an impact, because now they're going to be able to raise funds and do all these things with this big payoff in the back end of providing this dream come true to people. Let's talk about the machine that you built in order to, like, make this impact.
Let's do it.
So you want to start with turnkey sales, which is the thing that we most talk about here?
I would love to.
All right.
So I gave a little bit of a precursor of turnkey sales, right? When I say turnkey sales, for anybody who's new, this is our core product. We sell single family rental properties, and we package all of our services around this experience to make it very easy for you as an investor. And you may be anywhere in the world. You may be anywhere across the country. Make it very easy for you to be able to invest in this wonderful asset class because of all of these services that are packaged around this. So that's what we say when we mean turnkey sales. And I was just sharing with you that pendulum swing has affected probably turnkey sales more than maybe any other department that we've had. And so in 2023, it's interesting. We set out our business plan in 2023 to sell, our business plan called to sell 168 turnkey proproperties. We came in at 166.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good to know your business like that.
Freakishly good. Yeah.
And it's even more impressive just about knowing your business, because in 2022, I didn't put the numbers here, but I think it was somewhere around 360 turnkey sales that we had in 2022. You can see here in 2021, we had 531, and in 2019, we had 419. So you can see we've been an organization that's been selling between, call it 350 to 450 homes for years and years and years. But this is that proactive pivot that I talked to you all about. We talked about it last year. We knew that because of what the market is throwing at us, that turnkey sales, not everybody was going to get it. we sat here on the show and we tried to show you why this was the best place to put your money. And some of you were able to take advantage of that. And you're in a really, really wonderful spot. But overall, there was so much noise that I knew that we were not going to reach the same number of sales. So we put a business plan together and we said, listen, that number is going to be, call it 168, right? We're at 166. We were able to get there. Now, as we go into 2024, I think there's a lot of signs that it could be a much more favorable environment when it comes to being able to sell an asset like turnkey sales. But, the way that we build this business plan is to be conservative because there's too much on the line for us to be aggressive and bank on really good things that are going to happen in this economy. So when we built the business plan this year, we said, listen, incremental growth. We're not expecting interest rates in a sense from a business plan perspective. I'm not expecting interest rates to go down very far or at all. Because if I do that, then I start to go down the path that, sales will become easier. So we built a very conservative business plan, even though we talk on the show about how I do expect interest rates to be coming down at some point. That is what the general consensus is. When we build this business plan, we say, okay, let's assume nothing good happens from an interest rate perspective. What do we expect to happen from the sales side? So we expect incremental growth to go from 166 in 2023 up to 192. And, in future years, you'll see us get closer and closer back to that 350, 400 number of turnkey sales, which historically is what we've been operating at.
I get it. And I think my role here is to kind of give the story behind the story. And I think everybody knows 2023, everybody freaked out, right? So it's going to just be hard to reach that level of sales just based on everybody else out there in the market. These 166, I believe, came a lot from this community and people that have stayed informed and people that understand that this thing is still working and that has proven true. To me, the most impressive thing is this idea that 2019, 419 turnkey sales. 2021, 531 turnkey sales. I remember early 2021 pulling you aside and be like, Gregg, you need to hire more salespeople. Gregg, you need to, you're leaving money on the table, right? We have more people than we can get to, to sell this asset class to. And I remember you pulling me aside and saying, hey, Pablo, I could do that. I could sell an extra 50, 60, 70 homes this year if I hired another salesperson. But we've been through this before. We know that there's going to be a year here in the upcoming future where demand is going to slow down and there's nothing that we can do about it. And I don't want to, I rather leave money on the table than scale up for something that isn't going to stay there, and then have to let somebody go, because I know the impact of morale on my team and I know the impact of turnover on the client base and the emotional attachments that people create and the consistency in what you're able to provide in the asset class. And to me, what I find very, very interesting is the idea that happened. It happened right on schedule, as you said. And on top of that, you were able to predict exactly what it would end up happening year over year. And, spoiler alert, you haven't let anybody go. We're going to talk about headcount in a second, but to me, that's the really pressing thing, is this idea that in a world where we all think that real estate can be a bit of a crapshoot, you are teaching us here that no, if you have the right information and you have the right approach, it doesn't have to be a crapshoot.
It doesn't. And what this really reflects in that conversation, what that really reflected is we know why you all choose to do business with us. It's because of the team. It's not because of the property. It's because of the team and it's because of the experience that you have here. And the thought of taking some short-term revenue gains to potentially hire a position that I don't know is going to be there in 1, 2, or 3 years in the future is not worth it. Whenever we make a hiring decision, we make sure that role is going to be there in the future. So that was a very calculated decision. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense to a whole lot of people back then when things were on fire.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah.
But now we see why it makes so much sense. We have an organization here that continues to grow, and they haven't had to deal with some of the pain that other organizations are having to deal with layoffs, especially in the real estate world, especially in the construction world. We don't have to deal with that.
I mean, layoffs, best case scenario, there's companies shutting down.
Exactly.
Right, which is what we've seen here locally. So let's talk about this idea of how you can endure and thrive even when you foresee this low drop in sales.
Well, actually, absolutely. So, last year we said, okay, well, listen, the revenue that we were creating from turnkey sales is not going to be what it was in 2022 and in 2021. Okay, cool. What lever can we pull? What lever are we going to pull? And retail sales is a lever that We haven't talked a lot about it on this show, but it is a significant part of JWB. So a retail sale is what we call it internally. That would be a sale to an owner occupant. So it's the same type of asset that we sell as a turnkey rental property. Same asset, same home, single family home in the same neighborhoods, our 4 key neighborhoods here in Jacksonville, but we just have a different end user. And over the course of our history, we have sold a relatively small amount of homes to owner occupants. But as we looked at what was going on in the overall marketplace, we realized that there was still significant population growth happening in Jacksonville. There was still significant demand for housing because we are a more affordable market than other places in the country. And we realized that there is a supply shortage, whether that's retail sales, rental properties, turnkey sales. There's not enough homes to support the demand. And we said, well, listen, even if interest rates go up, we expect that we're going to be able to sell more homes to owner occupants. This, again, this is against the backdrop of the noise that we've been hearing out there as far as how the market was going to crash. This is why for so long I've been telling you that we should have confidence in this real estate market. It's because of the same things I talked to you about. Low supply leads to a high floor of pricing. And when you have demand coming into a marketplace, homes are going to sell. So that's exactly what happened. 2022, we only sold 56 homes to owner occupants. In 2023, we more than doubled that. We sold 116 homes in 2023. As we start to see the lever that we continue to pull more and more and more in 2024, we're expecting to sell over 200 homes. And hopefully, this may be more than any other metrics I've shared with you as far as the confidence you should have in this real estate market. These homes are in the same neighborhood that all of your turnkey rental properties are. Things are absolutely selling, and the market is strong. You can see it by a company like us doubling our sales this year and looking to double the sales again next year.
Yeah. And as you announced this, Danny Davis put in the chat, brilliant proactive pivot to retail sales. Absolutely brilliant. I agree. Like when I think of, we talked about this idea of what you can expect in the real estate world now that you're redefining this. I think of the best companies in the world, right? A company like Amazon. And when companies grow, they either grow from share of market because they're finding new markets and new people to sell to, or they grow through share of wallet, right? And if you think about what Amazon has done, Amazon started selling books, then they started selling DVDs. Then they eventually started selling everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was all share of wallet. That was the same consumer that wants to buy their stuff online. I'm just gonna solve more and more problems for the same people. And you guys continue to do that. Apple has done a great job of that. They close the ecosystem and they continue to control the whole experience. And retail is one of these things where we get a lot of these questions on the show. What if, as an investor, I want to sell my home afterwards, right? So it's like it's a perfect step forward into this idea that like you just continue to service the different things that people need. But it has another component. Amazon at some point also said, oh my God, with all these capacities, we have created the best cloud service in the business, and we can also sell that to different people. And now they went from share of wallet and selling the same thing over and over again to finding the same thing that they were doing for people and knowing that there's another demand, another market out there that also wants to partake in that, and they made that available. And that's what's allowed them to continue this flywheel of growth. So when I see JWB stepping into retail sales here, I think of that. I think of the same path that Amazon has taken of going from share of wallet to also share of market that are perfectly aligned and continuing that route.
Yeah, and I love the comparison to some of those companies. I think Apple is one that, I know how closed Apple is. And when I think of how closed Apple is, it's because they want to control the experience for their clients. And I can relate to that. That's how we make decisions on the JWB side. We think about how we've closed the loop or vertical integration. It's a whole nother, it's just the same way of saying that, right? We're protecting the client experience. And so we're very intentional about protecting that client experience. That's why you see JWB property management being in-house. That's why you see acquisitions being in-house. That's why you see all of these components being in-house. Our maintenance teams, our construction services teams, which are all maintenance related services for our residents so that we can provide more value for them and in turn more value for our investor clients as well. So it starts with that commitment to client experience. But then there's this huge opportunity for us to be able to take that same product or service like you're talking about and be able to sell that to a slightly different user. And what that represents for all of us and why you should be excited about that from a client at JWB's perspective, it creates this ultimate flexibility for JWB, which is what you're seeing here. Like, we were not scared that the number of turnkey sales we were going to have last year was going to cut in half. Why weren't we scared of that? It's because we have these other channels, these other levers. Starts with a commitment to client experience, but it is just another lever. And that same property that we originally were earmarking to sell for turnkey properties, now that's just earmarked for a retail sale. Slightly different user here in the community. And what I really love as we continue to grow retail sales even more and more, you start to think about how we're impacting our community. So make an impact, right? We are able to change neighborhoods dramatically as we continue to ramp up retail sales in addition to ramping up turnkey sales. We're able to change the lives for those families in the neighborhoods. The folks that we're getting to serve are more and more here who are locally. And, sometimes the folks that are here locally beyond different circles, beyond the investor community and whatnot, they don't know that we're the largest provider of affordable housing in Duval County. They don't know that we have the highest number of home sales for prices that are lower than $300,000. And it's because that impact is what drives us. So I'm excited for retail sales for many, many reasons, but it just falls in line with an even bigger impact on our local community, which helps everybody.
Yeah, I love that, man. And what I hear is you are willing to step outside of that, closed ecosystem as long as it still fits into your flywheel, right? It's still in the core part of your business, and it's not too big of a leap to disrupt anything.
And there's a lot of things that don't get said yes to that are kind of right on the cusp there. We continue to make, we got that R&D department, and we don't talk a lot about the things that are going on in R&D department, but they're there and they're a lever that can be pulled just like retail is.
Got it. So huge jump in retail sale expected next year.
Absolutely. Talk about another big jump.
Big jump.
This is a really fun number to talk about. It's the number of properties that are under management for JWB Property Management. And in 2023, we ended the year with 5,847 homes. That asterisk right there just denotes that that's a new JWB world record, the most that we've ever had in our company history, of course. As we look to 2024, we are going to be well over that 6,000 homes threshold. We expect to end 2024 at the 6,300 property level. This does not include any purchases of property management companies. We are open to potentially making acquisitions there. We made 3 acquisitions of property management companies in 2023. And we started 2023 saying that we were open, but not expecting any property management company acquisitions. We brought on over 900 doors in 2023 in terms of property management acquisitions. So incredible growth on the property management side. The numbers here are even more staggering. Just look back into 2018, we had 1,669 properties under management. We're now sitting on the doorstep of 6,000. 2021, what's that, 3 years ago? We had under 4,000 properties under management. So such an incredible job by our entire organization to be able to handle that type of growth, to be able to have the systems, processes, training, talent, to be able to serve, our properties under management number growing and growing. And what this means for all of us, for you as an investor, you can look at it from a number of different angles. The more that we manage, the better economies of scale we get. So the lower costs that it requires for us to perform services for you, which is incredible. We're able to basically put those resources more and more into serving you and making sure that your home stay rented longer and that your residents are happy so that they choose to renew with us. And yeah, it's been incredible growth. And then the other thing from your perspective is, to share with you just kind of like behind the scenes of looking at these different types of revenue. As a real estate company, most real estate companies live off the big pop. They live off the selling the big property. And while there can be a lot of revenue there, it tends to go like this, right? Property management is that consistent revenue from a JWB perspective. It's an incredibly sticky business model, which is important for the health of an organization. So it helps to create that sticky, that consistent revenue that continues to go up month and month and month and month, which helps create stability for the organization and allows us to do some of these other things that are more kind of R&D related. Mm-hmm. So again, another reason why JWB is going to be here this year, next year, decades from now, it's because of really the growth of the property management company along with, the other departments that we have.
Yeah. In summary, the recurring revenue piece of this thing is the property management company, which provides the stability, which keeps the institutional knowledge in-house that continues to compound over time so that it keeps a consistent experience, consistent performance of the asset. And the story behind the story there is that I happen to know that in around 2018, when you guys started seeing, okay, at some point this real estate cycle is going to get to the point where it makes everything really, really hard. We need to get to 5,000 homes under management within 5 years, and you guys crushed that number.
We did.
And I think that that's just incredible. The idea of going from 1,600 to 5,000 in just 5 years, the vision for that and the capacity to execute for that right on time for this thing to happen, and you guys to be the one big outfit that didn't have to lose a single person, instead grew, to me is the story behind the story there.
100%.
All right, let's keep going, buddy.
All right, next up, we've got some of the ways that we're able to serve you from a property management perspective. So these would be new leases signed by our team, and renewals which would be residents deciding after they've stayed with us for maybe 2, 3, 4 years, continuing to renew and stay with us again. So call it repeat business, right? Clients' resident satisfaction is clearly linked to choosing to renew again for years and years and years. So man, the numbers here are so wonderful to share. Just incredible shout out to our leasing teams and our property management teams. 2023 on the new leases signed, we signed over 1,400 new leases. You can see an asterisk there. That is the most that we've ever accomplished in our company history. I just pulled 2019, which was not that long ago. And in 2019, we had under 1,000 new leases signed, and we had 744 renewals. And we weren't doing the show in 2019, but if we were doing the show in 2019, I would have said, that's the most that we've ever done in our company history.
Yeah.
And, that was a big accomplishment there, but you can see the types of things that are being accomplished on a daily, monthly, annual process here at JWB to serve you, to make sure that your maintenance cost and your vacancy costs are limited. We do that most notably by signing new leases, treating your residents like gold, continuing to build that relationship so that when the time comes for that lease to end, they make the decision to commit to another lease with all of us so that we can increase your returns on investment. So large gains.
Yeah, huge gains. And when I look at this, I take off my business analyst hat and I think of my investor hat because I own 3 properties with JWB. And as this number ticks up, what I'm seeing here is that your ability to keep my asset performing is only getting better. And your capacity and your economies of scale are only getting better. Is your ability to fill a property when needed and to keep it occupied with renewals is the thing that over time makes all the profit centers go and keeps the experience for myself.
100%.
Okay.
So, well, I'll just put the number there.
Yeah.
We're getting eerily close to 2,000 renewals in 2024. We're
really
on the
close.
doorstep there. I wouldn't be
Really
surprised if our team cracks that threshold, and it'll be almost 1,600 new leases assigned as well. So we're excited for this growth. And, the great thing is that we're growing the right way, right? We're growing the right way. We have the systems team talent to be able to perform here, to go, and do 50% more than we did just, 3-4 years ago.
I love it, man. I love it. Renewals, end of the game, right? Like not having to turn a property, not having to lose that little bit of income, not having to renovate at that time and defer maintenance, name of the game. So can't wait till we hit that 2,000 mark, buddy.
Me too.
All right, let's keep going. JWB Construction, what's up with this?
JWB Construction, it's funny as you start to think about the accolades that we have in each of these different units, right? JWB Construction just by itself is one of the top 10 builders of new construction homes in Duval County, just by the number of homes that we have built and will be building in 2024. I could say this, JWB Property Management is the largest single family residential property management company in Duval County, and so on and so forth down the line. But we don't always get to talk as much about JWB Construction just because of the nature of the show. There is an entire construction organization here that is committed to providing high quality homes for you that do not have deferred maintenance, that lower your maintenance and lower your vacancy costs as investors. And it's not easy. You look at some of these numbers and they're quite impressive. In 2023, we built 290 new construction homes. Wouldn't even really talk about that on the show.
No,
an organization that builds 300 homes in the background,
Yeah.
right? 300 homes. And in 2024, we're expected to do more. We're going to be building over 400 homes. The plan is to build 440 new construction homes. So what that means to you as an investor is we have the assets ready for you to be purchasing. We're able as an organization to go ahead and actually build all of those assets out even before you say yes. So we have the capital, we have the experience, we're comfortable building all of those homes out for our turnkey clients or our retail clients. And that's not normal. In real estate, typically, you, the person who makes the decision to actually invest or buy, you go and you talk to your real estate agent and have a bright idea to go and buy a house or make an investment or whatnot. And many times you have to wait. You have to wait sometimes for that house to be built, or you have to go through sometimes tens, sometimes hundreds of offers that you have to put in. It's this really laborious property acquisition process. Mm-hmm. So here at JWB, those homes are being built now, and those 440 homes will be in future clients' portfolios to be named later. So it's here. And the reason that we're able to do that is because of the same reason you love this asset class. It's because once these homes are built, they pay for themselves. The rental income offsets the cost of holding for us. So this is not a tremendous risk for JWB to be building more and more and more. It's because of the beauty of this asset. It pays for itself.
Yep.
So, but that's not the only thing that we do. In fact, I wanted to show a little bit more than just the new construction homes built. Our construction team also is responsible for our renovations. Mm-hmm. So these would be existing assets, existing properties that we acquire that we then renovate. We love both renovations and new construction homes for all of our clients to put in their portfolio, but there's just less renovations available to buy in the marketplace today. There's less existing inventory. And so while we did over 100 renovations in 2023, we see that number coming down, and that number will be 42 in 2024, just purely what is out there to acquire. And then the other side of this, how do we serve you and how do we serve residents as they decide to actually leave the home, mm-hmm. which does happen? Well, we need to continue to be able to support those growing numbers there. As we manage 6,000 homes, you can imagine there's going to be a healthy number of property turns. And so we've built our systems, our team, our talent to be able to handle that. Last year, we turned just about 1,200 homes. 1,200 homes, and we continue to drop the days on market of those turns as well. So that was the most in our company history. In 2024, of course, we see that number going up to be just under 1,300.
Love that, man. And as I see this number, I see two things, right? This is classic closed ecosystem, control the environment for everybody, right? Like your capacity to build a home, which means that you have access to skilled construction labor because you were consistently doing that, your ability to renovate homes, and all fits into the idea that you can turn a property very quickly because you have the trim guy and the carpet guy and the roof guy and all the different, or lady, like all the different skill sets that you need in-house to answer at a moment's notice, which is why I took a little note at the TMM.
Oh, you did?
Turns have gone from an average of 18 days for a turn to 10 days.
How about that?
Turn. You didn't say that.
I did not.
That's pretty
impressive. You know in your numbers. You even got the numbers right too.
I had a pen and a paper and I was planning for this today. But yeah, so anyway, so that's happening. The other thing that I learned that I find really, really interesting is that you are starting to do renovations for folks that are property management clients that own the home. So not even just renovating a house before you sell it, but now that you're 17, 18 years in, and you have these homes that people bought 15 years ago, and it's time for like an upgrade and they need a renovation, you're able to handle that in-house as well.
Yeah. So we are a full service team. If you are coming to us and at some point it is time for you to sell your asset, between our JWB Realty, which is our in-house realty organization, we're able to sell the home. If it is in a situation where it needs to have significant repairs before you sell that home, typically you'd have to go out and hire your own contractor. Your real estate agent would make a recommendation for you. No, we can handle that renovation for you. So that's one thing. It kind of closes the loop. And a question that we get often is, what happens when I need to liquidate? Well, it's all within JWB. But what I think is also really appealing, and is something we haven't shed a lot of light on here in the show, is think about yourself as maybe an investor here locally. You love the Jacksonville market. You're not ideal for turnkey. Let's say you're maybe a little bit more experienced. You want to take on the risk of actually acquiring properties yourself. It's not passive for you. You're more active, but you still want a property management solution. Well, JWB Property Management services you as what we would call a property management client. You didn't buy the asset from us, but we're able to do the management. Well, one of your biggest pain points is I know how to find the deal. That might be you, right? I know how to find the deal, but I don't want to renovate it. JWB, can you renovate the property for me and do the property management? And really up until probably the majority of last year, the answer for us was no, because that takes significant time and energy to do that and resources. And we just weren't built to do that. But over the last year, we've built up our staff to be able to take that on. So for anybody who is interested in bringing their properties to JWB Property Management and you want us to do the renovation for you, that's what we call a client renovation. We'll actually be able to do the renovation for you. You bring the property under management to JWB, and now your acquisition and construction, your speed of implementation of growing your portfolio is light years ahead of where it was. So super, super excited to be able to offer that.
I like the circular hand motion as you were saying that, because what I'm thinking is just the flywheel continues to turn, it continues to get bigger, it creates economies of scale. And this is another one of those things that you built enough core capacity, just like Amazon Web Services did, to be able to now offer this beyond a little bit more than just the usual person, which adds more value, which continues the flywheel, continues the economies of scale, makes everything better for us. We got 3 more slides, 90 plus people on, and 8 questions, GC.
Thank you all for being here. This is fun.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, all right.
Well, and then I wanted to give you just an insight into the production cycle for things that we don't often shed a lot of light on. And it's all of those lots that are in construction right now. We have over 1,000 lots that are not built out yet. And you can see these various stages of production. So this is this proactivity that we have done for decades now. We continue to stockpile land in advance. We do that at relatively low cost basis so that we can make sure that we're able to sell the asset at a price that delivers return on investment for you or is an affordable product for our retail homeowners. And we continue to build the product out as demand comes through. So you can see here, we have over 450 pre-construction lots, 400 lots in permitting and site prep. We have 200 properties in active construction, and that funnel continues to work its way through providing the assets for our clients and making sure that that runway of properties is there. You don't have to be worried about, you certainly don't have to be worried about buying too many assets and selling out JWB. This is why I kind of chuckle when we get that question sometimes from sales on the sales phones. They say, well, can I buy 10? Can I buy 20? I say, go ahead, put a number out there. You're never going to buy us out. But it's part of this is because of this construction inventory that we have.
Again, in order to change the perception of can you actually build your retirement plan on real estate investing, people have to understand that just like any other asset class, I can call my broker and I can buy into it. It has to happen the same with real estate, right? Like if people are going to count on this long term and the ability to bring these homes to market on demand as I am growing my portfolio, not having to miss crucial milestones, crucial inflection points in my life where I need to continue to be able to do this is absolutely crucial. And that's why this really, really matters.
Absolutely.
All right.
I had so much more I can say that I know I got to land the ship there.
Yeah,
so we'll keep moving forward.
I respect that.
You caught me there. All right. Acquisitions and capital. These two things are absolutely tied. So in 2023, we bought 132 properties. Pablo, let's see if you were paying attention. What was the most in our company history as far as properties that we acquired?
Oh man, I think it was like 600 something.
It was over 900.
That's what I said.
Yes, close. That was within your years.
You turned the 6 around. All right, continue.
So yeah, for years and years, we have continued to stockpile, putting ourselves in a position of strength so that we could be choosy when it came to which properties we wanted to acquire. Well, that's the way that we have been operating in 2022, as well as 2023. And now in 2024, you're continuing to see that. Quite frankly, you just saw the new construction pipeline that we have. We don't have to bend an inch to go and buy any type of asset that we don't want to, which is wonderful. We have that inventory secured for you at the right prices that we have. So we're able to be picky and choosy when it comes to the properties that we want to purchase, which is really wonderful. So we'll only be buying about 60 in 2024. we have those 60 are largely just based on our relationships here locally. You know, those relationships are invaluable. And so when folks who we have a relationship with say, hey, listen, this is a great property and we can do right by them and they can do right by, of course, the metrics that we have to buy, well, those are going to be the purchases. It's really an investment in our relationships locally because we're in such a position of strength. When it comes to private lending dollars, this is a key source of capital for JWB. So how do you buy thousands of lots that you sit on, and how do you build out 440 in a year? Well, a lot of that comes from our lenders, our private lenders, which a lot of you are private lenders. You basically lend on projects that JWB develops either into brand new construction homes or other types of projects. And that's what our private lending program is. Private lending in 2023 raised over $29 million. So again, another thing that we don't shed a lot of light on here. Oh, by the way, our private lending team just raised just about 30 million bucks in a year. Big shout out to the team there. And then in 2024, we'll be raising 24 million. That's our goal. And the only reason that number comes down is because you can see the properties purchased will come down. If you purchase less properties, then you need less capital to be raised from private lending.
Sounds good, man. I think you nailed that. I don't got nothing else here. One more question, one more slide, and then we go to questions.
The thing that matters the most, the reason why all this works is our teammate are the JWB teammates. So we ended this year with 115 teammates. That, of course, is the most in our company history. We started 2020 with 79 teammates. We started 2023 with 95 teammates. So you're seeing significant growth within our organization. And then in 2024, you're going to see significant growth as well. We'll be up to 129 teammates here in JWB headquarters.
To me, this is the most impressive part, right? Like I'm not shy about what I keep on saying. There was a couple of big real estate outfits here in town that when I moved here, I was like, oh, look at that. These guys, it's like JWB and these other folks, right? And like, I'm friends with all of them, love them dearly, super smart guys. Two of them don't exist anymore, and JWB still does. And not only is it not, are you still existing, but you haven't downsized, right? Like you didn't make that same mistake that I was trying to tell you in 2022 to make of like hiring more people to ramp up for stuff. You kept on building on a solid foundation of recurring revenue, compounding the flywheel, adding to your overall advantage, adding to your economies of scale, and adding teammates instead of laying people off like we've seen in tech, like we've seen shuttered houses, shuttered doors in local businesses and real estate, stuff like that. The idea that you guys have gone from 2020 to now from like 79 to 115 teammates, and now you're expecting to go another 14 more. That doesn't even count me. It doesn't count Cody. It doesn't count like the other teammates that you bring on and the whole economic windfall that you guys create here. To me, is just absolutely fascinating.
This, more than anything, reflects our strategy of how we're going to do well for our residents, for our clients, for our community. It is by understanding that the reason you all choose to do business with us is because of the experience and it's because of the team. And if we bottle everything, our whole business thesis is that if we take care of the team is going to take care of the clients. And if that's happening, then you should see the number of, and your business is growing, you should see the number of teammates go up, and it should be able to endure the hard times. It's easy to hire when times are good. It should be able to endure the hard times. And so that's absolutely our strategy. It is to invest in our team and to bring on the most talented, the best teammates, the most caring, skilled individuals that we can, because ultimately that's what separates this opportunity to invest versus every other way to invest in real estate. It's because of the team. It's because of the experience. So it's something that we're very, very proud of and very intentional about. And, I love being able to share the success each and every year. You guys see the numbers going up.
I love it, man. And it's not just like a number here. It's truly like a compilation of talent. Like I love talking to people about how the experience here, I like to say in and out. If you're from the East Coast, it's Chick-fil-A, right? But like, you're never going to go to there's certain companies that, that when you walk into, you're going to walk out of in a better mood than you walked in, because every experience is going to be great. And that's how I feel every time I'm here on campus. Everybody I talk to, I'm just like, I want to be your buddy, or I want to be your mentor, or I want you to be my uncle.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome. Just young, old, men, women, people from different backgrounds, all alike. I think I saw 6 promotions today at the TMM.
That's right.
All women.
Big day. Yeah. How about that? Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's right.
I thought that was fascinating. I thought
You
that was
know,
really fascinating.
it's funny when we first started, the four owners are guys, of course. And
Yeah.
so it just is really fun to see the amount of women leaders that we have in our organization. For a while there, they called us they called us a fraternity, but when it was like, there was like, 8 of us back in the day and there were 4 owners and they happened to be guys. I think we had like one female, and this is dating, 18 years ago. So to know that that was the moniker for a little bit of here locally, oh, it's that fraternity, to now know what this organization is, it is women led. And to see those 6 promotions today was really, really fun and exciting. So yeah, it's such a wonderful group. And I'm excited for all of you who get to be a part of the summit to come and meet us as well. You guys are going to be equally impressed.
All right, GC, you ready for some questions?
Yes.
Okie doke. Let's go. All right. So this is questions that you all have pumped in here. We're going to jam through these. So I'm going to add a little context because these are based on past slides. But when we talked about donating a house to a resident in the past, it has been Canines for Warriors that we donate a house to. So Lee, the MVP, who's always with an astute eye, is asking, giving the house to a tenant, does this mean that JWB is separating from the Wounded Warrior program? So it wasn't Wounded Warriors. It was Canine for Warriors.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not a separation from Canines for Warriors. We absolutely love Canines for Warriors. We are still integrated with Canines for Warriors. A lot of our efforts throughout the year will be to support them, just as, we always have had those efforts. But we just saw an opportunity here to be able to give a home to a resident. And we said, this is a great opportunity for us to take advantage of. So we absolutely love Canines, but this year it's going to be devoted to a resident and, a great opportunity to rally the daily efforts of our team in a way that we just couldn't do unless we were able to donate that home to a resident of JWB Property Management.
There you go. All right, MVP Lee with another one. When you were showing the turnkey sales, were you showing mostly new builds or any inventory?
All the sales were any inventory, either new construction or renovations.
All right. JC is asking, could you help investors who have a creative finance or wholesale deal and need boots on the ground to inspect it / rehab and then manage it? If so, what's the process?
Perfect question,
Perfect
JC.
question.
Glad you asked. Yes, absolutely. JC, reach out to our team. You can go to chatwithjwb.com, or you can just send an email to info@JWB Companies. That is that client renovation service that we have available for all of our investors who would like us to renovate a property and then do the management for you.
Sounds good. One of our regulars here, all the way from France, seems to check in often. Anonymous attendee.
I have heard.
Asked the question, why do you think turnkey sales dropped so dramatically? Was it just interest rates?
Well, I think interest rates had a large factor of it, but you just think about what the narrative was for the last year and a half. Everything that you guys were reading was telling you that real estate was going to crash. Real estate values were going to go down. How could they do anything else other than real estate crashing? And so I think the show provides me a wonderful opportunity to keep my pulse on the marketplace, keep my pulse on what you're reading and seeing and feeling. And I mean, that was just real. We were fighting that battle of trying to help people see that doomsday scenario was not real. And as it turns out, we were right. Home values did not crash. They didn't go down in Jacksonville. They actually went up slightly, which is exactly what we predicted. So I think interest rates were absolutely impactful in driving demand down for this asset, but equally as impactful was this negative narrative that was cast upon real estate in general in 2023. And so that's why.
All right, cool. So Luis Olivares, who I believe is coming to the summit, Luis, I'm looking forward to meeting you, my friend. Similar question, Don Toth also saying, is JWB primarily focused in Jacksonville? Luis is asking, JWB Property Management Company, is it only in the Jacksonville area? Would you consider expanding to other areas of Florida? GC.
Great question, Luis. We are focused on Northeast Florida, which is basically Jacksonville and the surrounding areas. We love the question of, are we going to other areas? It gives me the opportunity to do something different than what you're probably expecting, is to tell you, no. We are 100% committed to Jacksonville. Our whole idea is to go a mile deep rather than a mile wide. We believe we can make more impact on our community. We can create better investments for you. We can make a better experience for our team, being centrally focused on Jacksonville. And I love that you're going to be coming to the summit, because you're going to get to see that. You're going to get to see the impact that we're absolutely making right now in our neighborhoods, when you get to see the property that we're going to be able to take you to, as well as our impact on downtown Jacksonville, and we'll be able to relate it all. to why this is not only to your benefit, but to the community's benefit as well.
Yeah, I think the summit's going to do a pretty good job of showing the JWB is playing just a different game, right? Like there isn't a lot of these like turnkey providers that have bought 20 city blocks in downtown, built a public-private partnership with $2 billion worth of other investors to then go and completely renovate a city to bring up median income. And I don't think that you can do that in more than one city. So I love the fact that you guys are just completely here. And if you need Jacksonville, you want here. And if you want a market that appreciates more than other markets that are in the turnkey rental space that are cash flow positive, it's Jacksonville. So that's who you guys serve. Very clear. Jenny Berger asks, as owners of your turnkey properties, do we have a say in the rent renewal amount, or is that entirely up to JWB?
Yeah, some clients want us to make the decision for them. Some want to have a say. So yes, absolutely. It's a communication and, a working together process that, any client would have with our team. So really dependent on what's best for your decision-making and communication style. So I would encourage you, Jenny, just to reach out to, I'm not sure, Jenny, if you're a client yet, but just reach out to your JWB portfolio manager and you guys can have that dialogue.
Sounds good. Patron Santorius. Michael Santorius asks, Gregg, the unemployment rate in Jacksonville looks to be 3% in April 2020. During COVID, it hit 14%. Randstad Resmart job outplacement company says 92% of businesses are planning layoffs in 2024. Should unemployment pick up in 2024 in Jacksonville, would JWB treat it like they did in April of 2020?
I think what he's hinting at is, in April of 2020, we came very strong and said no JWB employee is going to lose their job because of COVID. And I think if I'm reading the question correctly, I think he's asking if unemployment ticks up again, would we handle it the same way? Is that the way you're reading the question?
Yeah, I could say that's how we're reading the question. Why don't you answer that and then maybe I'll ask it a different way.
All right. So, well, yes, we believe that the cost of a layoff is very, very substantial to our mission here and the way that we create value to you. So we go to great lengths to ensure that that doesn't happen. So that's why, even though the world changed in March of 2020, we looked at our organization and felt it was very important for everybody in our organization, even though the world was on fire at that point, to say nobody's losing their job. It freed up everybody. And so, I can't tell you what may happen out there, if unemployment would raise to extreme levels and all those good things, but I can tell you that that's our focus, is make sure that we're taking care of the team so the team can take care of you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know if I'm speaking out of school here, but like you guys have enough runway to last like a year, don't you?
We do. The reason why we were able to be so confident in that message then, and if something unforeseen would happen now, is because we plan for a rainy day. It starts with reserves. As a company, how much reserves do you have for a rainy day? And we, luckily we plan for rainy days. We planned for rainy days while COVID was happening. And that was, I can't make it up. If we don't have the reserves, if we don't have the what if funds, then I can't be confident and say those things. So we did then, we do now. And so I think it's really important to take that fear off the table, especially in a time when we're certainly not out of the woods of a recession. There are going to be more layoffs. I would expect unemployment to tick up across the country and in Jacksonville, as it's been it's been, I don't know what the right word is. It's historically, it's usually not this low.
We've been overemployed.
We've been overemployed.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
So we're prepared for that. Our asset class is prepared for that. So yeah, I don't expect any difference in how we would handle that.
Just throwing out there. Great question, bro.
Yeah, great.
Great question.
That's the patron Santorius.
Yeah, patron Santorius. The MVP, on the other hand, also has a question. Gregg, why do you protect a drop in renovations in 2024? Usually your projections are always up. I find this a little different.
Yes, absolutely. So renovations are projected to be down in 2024 simply because there's less existing inventory for us to buy and then renovate. So you're going to see a correlation between renovations and the number of properties purchased in 2024. From 2023 to 2024, the number of properties purchased went down. We're expecting to buy less properties in 2024. And then you'll also see we're expecting to do less renovations in 2024 than we did in 2023.
There you go. Anonymous Attendee is back. Would you manage a multifamily? Any size restrictions?
You guys are having great questions.
Great question.
Absolutely, we manage multifamily. There is no size restriction. In fact, we believe we serve a part of the marketplace that's really underserved right now, and that is world-class property management for multifamily and especially small apartment complexes. There is effective management out there for large apartment complexes, and then there's a lot of single-family property management companies, but there's that kind of missing part of the market. And so we feel like we can serve that very, very well. So multifamilies, especially small apartment complexes, in addition to our bread and butter of single family, is kind of where we live.
There you go. Misty Johnson, past star of the show, number 9 best attendee last year.
Absolutely.
Do you have lots near the beach? Which neighborhoods are closest to the beach?
We do have lots near the beach. Which neighborhoods are closest to the beach? Well, they're all named last name beach. So there's Jacksonville Beach, there's Neptune Beach, there's Atlantic Beach,
Ponte Vedra Beach.
There's Ponte Vedra Beach, there's Mayport. Those neighborhoods are not great for turnkey rental properties just because the prices are so much higher, and it's almost impossible to get positive cash flow to, in those neighborhoods. So that's why you don't see those assets being recommended to you for turnkey investments. But we do have those assets. In fact, for those who are coming to the summit, as we start to let you know about the places that we're going to recommend for you to stay, on that list of recommended places will be some of the JWB properties down at the beach, which are short-term rentals at the beach. We'll be getting that information to you over the course of the next week, but some of you will be able to see JWB properties out by the beach.
Love it. If she asked it the other way, which neighborhoods you invest in are closest, you can buy turnkey properties closest to the beach, it would be Arlington, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I just wouldn't even call it close to the beach.
It's not close.
All of our neighborhoods are 20 to 30 minutes away from the beach, because that's where workforce housing neighborhoods that you want to be in are located.
Got it. Speaking of neighborhoods, Howard Scarrott says, if you were to pick one neighborhood that you feel will undergo the highest appreciation in the next 3 to 5 years, which one would you pick and why?
I'd say yes.
Tell me more.
There's no data to show, first of all, picking home price appreciation rates over the next 3 to 5 years is very difficult. The data shows that when you expand it to a full market cycle, which is 10 to 20 years, the data becomes predictable. You should be making decisions based off of that. So the 3 to 5 years is tough right there. The other thing is that there's no data to support that one of our JWB neighborhoods is going to appreciate more than the others. Like, for example, the Paxson neighborhood, which is a part of our north side neighborhood here in Jacksonville, was the fastest growing and fastest appreciating market in 2021, according to Zillow, in the entire state of Florida.
In all of Florida, yeah.
If you had asked me that 3 years ago, would I have chosen the north side and Paxson to be the #1 fastest growing place? I wouldn't. I don't know if I would have said that, but I certainly wouldn't have had any reason to expect that. So it continues to be proven over and over again that making those sort of decisions based on one neighborhood over another, it's not really fruitful. What you need to do is to find the model. And the model is to invest in workforce housing neighborhoods that's surrounding a change agent. And when I say a change agent, I'm talking about downtown Jacksonville. Downtown Jacksonville and the revitalization of downtown Jacksonville is the largest change agent. It's the largest growth opportunity to see significantly higher home price appreciation and rent price appreciation. But that's not the place to put your money, downtown Jacksonville. It's the place to put for JWB to put our money. The place for you to put your money is workforce housing neighborhoods surrounding downtown because it's risk mitigated, but you still get the benefits of home price appreciation and rent price appreciation. But I don't have any data to say which of those 4 core neighborhoods is going to be the best. The answer is yes. They're all surrounded by downtown Jacksonville. They're all workforce housing neighborhoods, and I expect all of them to grow substantially over the next 3 to 5 years and beyond.
Howard, I wasn't going to go here, but Denny Davis, Mystery Man, puts this in the chat. I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but he says this is where Pablo says you don't know if you're going to hit a single, double, triple, or home run, but if you end up stacking singles, you're going to win the game, right? So like the way that it was explained to me when I invested in my first JWB rental property was very similar to that. It's this idea that, listen, all you got to be putting these things in play and count on all the 5 profit centers, right? Like if you're getting on base, the 5 profit centers working overtime for you are going to get you home, right? One house can be a single, one can be a double, one can be a triple, but over time, this thing is going to work in a way that works for you, that allows you to build more cash flow over time, build more equity over time, give you access to like all these options that real estate as an asset class has that other ones don't. And the idea is that JWB has just like really, really like widened the strike zone for you and has given you lollipop pitches for you to just put into play and get you home with the economic drivers happening around it. How about
You know
that?
who would
How
really
about
love
that,
that?
Danny?
You know who would really love that analogy?
Jim Kirkland, Hall of
Jim
Fame.
Kirkland
Hall of
would
Fame
love
first
that
base.
analogy. Can't wait to meet Jim.
I can't wait to meet Jim and his kid. All right,
Absolutely.
Miguel Angel has a question. Is it true that offer is so high that it is pushing rental prices down?
Is it true that offer is so high that it's pushing your rental prices down? I don't know what he means by is the offer so high. Rental prices have grown year over year in Jacksonville. Now, you'll hear some thoughts and some folks talking about how rental demand is down, and rental demand is down, but I question what's it in relation to? Because the year before and the year before that was unbelievable rental growth. So we all expected it to come down. But we expect rents to grow year over year to normalize, which is what we've seen in 2023. We expect the same thing to happen in 2024. So
no, it's not true.
well, I'm not sure exactly what he's asking, but whatever the answer is no. As far as, rental prices coming down, rent prices have gone up in 2023.
Good job making that answer as long as possible.
Sorry. We're only 20 minutes over. Perfect.
Bill Green says, great quote, but Pablo's a sneaky little base stealer. Wrong, Bill Green. I'm the slowest person that you've ever met in your life. I have no fast twitch muscle fiber. All right, Bruce Colliette. What a great name.
Wonderful.
Last name. Can JWB manage short-term rentals such as properties on Airbnb?
We do not manage short-term rentals. We talked about some of these things that are sort of in the R&D department for JWB. We're testing it out with our own money. We're wondering if it is a good fit for us to manage it for other people. And sometimes the answer is no. Whereas sometimes the answer is yes on retail sales and realty and client renovation. Sometimes the answer is no. We put our time and energy and money into managing short-term rentals for ourselves, and we didn't feel like we were the right fit to manage those short-term rentals for others. So we would not be a solution for short-term rentals management.
All right. And then last question here, we're going to shut it down. Mike Foster asks, for JWB Cares properties, right? This idea that you're going to give a home to a resident. What is your winnowing process for selecting someone to receive a gift home?
Yes, we are working with a third-party organization to manage that process for us. It's important that we have that this is a hands-off approach for us. So we're working through the finer points of exactly how that's going to work. Happy to share that with you guys in the future, but it will be done outside of JWB. It will not be managed by JWB to make sure that it's impartial, that we are not hand selecting the resident that is lucky enough to walk away with a brand new home.
Cool. I had no idea what winnowing meant, but it means filtering down essentially.
There we go.
Denny Davis also asked in the chat, and I might as well bring it up here, but does that mean that if somebody, or do you have this figured out? If somebody gets a home, does that mean that an investor loses a resident or a tenant?
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
But, we have to be an organization that can solve that problem times 1,567 times next year, which is the number of new leases. And so while that may happen, if that happens to be your resident, just know that you're going to be taken care of. It's going to be a wonderful thing for your resident and you're not going to suffer. So we've thought about that. Obviously, the bigger win overall is to make sure that this can be a wonderful moment and to close the loop and have the team be able to rally around, all their efforts supporting a resident, but just know that you'll be taken care of too.
Plenty of stories in our community about JWB taking care of something that was unforeseen and making everybody whole and making them feel like everything is good. So feel free to ask around about that, but I have to imagine that a foreseen thing you're going to be even better at taking care of.
Yeah.
So it won't be a big headache.
It'll be a win for all, I promise.
GC, I get the sense that the State of the Union is strong.
State of the Union is strong, man. And I just love this platform. I mean, gosh, thank you guys we had over 90 folks attending. We still have.
We're like an hour and 15, 20
I
minutes.
know we're trying to, wrap it up, but
there's no winnowing this crowd.
It's just too fun to be here and you all make it so fun. So thank you all for being here for close to an hour and a half. I love that you get as much value out of this as we have fun doing it. So thank you all. This has been tremendous.
It's the community that makes this thing great. Having 90 plus people here asking these questions really just makes it easier for us to come up with more topics, know ways to help you and that stuff. And it's really the community that makes this thing special. Since you're here, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek on Thursday. It's going to be a very popular episode because we're bringing the ultimate Jacksonville insider, Alex Safakis, who always draws a big crowd, to talk about insider secrets. He's going to talk about the 3 most important developments that will change Jacksonville forever. This goes to you. Who was it that was in the chat talking about a 1031 exchange of about $2 million and buying a whole portfolio here? You're going to be really, really interested in this because these downtown projects, they are designed to raise the median income. Raising the median income means property values go up, means your cash flows goes up, means rents goes up, all the good things that we want to happen. So Alex Ivakis is going to be here. He is the Tasmanian devil of Northeast Florida real estate. He loves it when I call him that, and also named in like every publication as like the mover and shaker of Northeast Jacksonville. And he's also Gregg's best friend.
He is.
And business partner and co-founder,
Well,
and the guy that talked you into quitting your job to do this.
Oh yeah. Well, let's make sure we talk him up, but in equal parts make fun of him on that show. Can we make sure we do that too?
If you like buddy comedies, this Thursday show, if you like insider real estate information and buddy comedies, Thursday shows is going to be for you. There's going to be a lot of being made fun of. So join us on Thursday. Thank you for being here. And from here till then, one little bit of advice. GC, what is it?
Don't be average.
See ya.